Well, if I think about life-changing books, I do have to speak to the book that both Paramabandhu and I co-wrote. Not because I think it's a life-changing book, but because that's the feedback that I constantly get. One of the reasons why it's life-changing is because once upon a time, the only recovery book out there really was the 12 steps, the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. You either had 12 steps or it was the asylum or the streets. And over the past 10 to 15 years, we have seen this upsurge of Buddhist recovery. And that shouldn't be a surprise because as far as I'm concerned, Buddhism is the oldest recovery program that we know. We know that actually the Buddha's first discourse was talking about addiction, addiction to hedonism, addiction to self-mortification. Recovery may not be explicit in the Buddhist teachings, but it's most definitely implicit in the Buddhist teachings. And one thing that I want to say to you is this. Those of you who are familiar with the 12-step approach will know it was co-founded by Dr. Bob and Bill W. Actually, I think it's quite interesting that it was founded by a doctor and somebody who had lived experience of addictions. And here again, we have 8-step recovery founded by a doctor of psychiatry and somebody who has lived experience. But what I want to say about this, Dr. Bob, he was writing in the 50s. And this is something that he wrote. And it gives me goosebumps when I think about it because Buddhism in the UK in the 50s, forget it. But yeah, Dr. Bob wrote once in pamphlets called Milestones, actually said that the Noble Eightfold Path could literally be adopted as an alternative to 12 steps or an addition to 12 steps, literally. And that gives me goosebumps. So back in the 50s, Dr. Bob knew that actually the Dharma was a way out of people's suffering, a way out of addiction.